They opened up the first AR company in Canada, one of the first ones in the world. And we started working with Twitter, with Universal Pictures. So we're the ones who have done 50 Shades of Grey Darker, the virtual reality experience. Then we worked with Tom Cruise on The Mummy.
I mean, I'm blown away what you're telling me.
This is 2016. Vassal's my co-founder on the plane with Tom Cruise, right, in zero gravity and work. So we make a deal between us, Universal Pictures, South by Southwest, and also IMAX. We presented at South by Southwest, and we used the positron chairs to be able to use that experience.
I recall the App 2021 crowd was crazy around your booth.
We want to build out this product for in virtual reality. What would be really cool is if we could pair them all together, but wireless. So we put all those ideas together, and first one fails, second one fails, third one fails. And so we built out our first version. That's when we met IAPA, and then from there we just it just took off. It's in beta right now. We are in 22 countries with 100 locations, and here we are today. Chloe.
Well, good to see you again, my friend, Awane. Thanks for joining us today. I believe it's morning on your side in Canada. I'm here in the south of France, enjoying a few days left of a well-deserved holiday in the family entertainment industry. Thanks again for taking some time to answer our call and share with us a bit about your journey in the entertainment industry. A little bit of an introduction. I think you and I know each other for 4 years. I recall we met at the App Bar in Orlando in 2021 during the peak of COVID. You guys were one of the very few, if not the only, free roaming VR arena at that time, and it was really, really impressive. The crowd was crazy around your booth. I'm super excited to have you here, and like we mentioned just before the intro, we'd love to hear about your experience, how you got into this industry, learn more about your journey, and finish off with some tips as a business entrepreneur. Give us a little bit of an intro about who you are, your name, your position, your company name, and also share with us a bit about your product. Obviously, I know it very well, but for somebody who's a first time listener, tell us a bit about VR Arena and by Phenomena.
Sure. So, hi, my name is Awane Jones. I'm the CEO of Phenomena, and we built out this platform called the Virtual Reality eSport Arena. And basically what we have is a platform that can be deployed to arcades, family entertainment centers, amusement parks, and it gets bundled with a bunch of competitive games that you can play with other people. So 1 people, 2 people, 3 people, all the way up to 8 people. You only need 1 operator to manage this. And the beauty of our product is that it's very scalable in the sense of you can buy Quest 2s at $200 and it's going to work, or you can buy the premium headsets like HTC Vive Focus 3s and everything in between. So you can have, Vive striker guns if you want, B haptics. So meaning that a very small arcade that's just looking to get into the business, doesn't have too much capital, but just wants to, get into this and produce an incredible experience for their customers in their small region of the world, they'll be able to do that. To Six Flags, who's looking to build out, a massive, a big arena with all the lights and bells and all the premium stuff. And that's what's special about our product is it fits for everybody that's looking to make some money from virtual reality attractions.
But before further ado, I'll pass it off to you, Awane. Tell us a bit about your background. I mean, how did you start this amazing industry? And maybe before, give us a little bit of a story behind this.
Sure. Do you want the short story or the long story?
I have all day.
All right. So I was actually in the music industry, and I was recording my 5th album. And when I was recording this album, this was in 2008, right? And at that time, we were partners with Universal Music, and I was getting a lot of concerning meetings and emails because, of course, in 2008, this is like the Napster era, right? This is like record labels didn't understand what to do. CDs, like, how am I going to sell this CD for $15.99, $14.99 when you can just go ahead and download the music for free, right? So this was a huge shock to the music industry, and executives didn't know what to do. And so they're like, Alan, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to promote this record? How are you going to make sure that people are going to actually buy the record instead of just stealing it for free, right? And this is really dark times at this point, Claude. Like the music industry was really shook, right?
Well, this is bringing me back down memory lane. I mean, just the fact that you're mentioning Napster, I got goosebumps just listening. Good times there.
Oh my god! So I'm recording this record, right? And I'm like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And I just happened to have a friend who came back from Japan, and she was like, Alan, have you seen this new technology called augmented reality? And I'm like, no, what is that? And so she sent me a video. And basically, people were just taking these markers, putting in front of their webcams. At that time, it was just for webcams, and this animated thing would pop up, right? And it was just like it felt like magic, Claude. It really felt like magic, and I was like, "Whoa!" I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I need to be part of it. And I'm recording this record. I'm playing around with the tech and everything, and I'm like, "Well, wait a second. If I could make the album cover or the cover or basically the product interactive, then you go ahead, steal my music all you wanted to, but you're going to want to have the physical CD because you'd have something to interact with. There would be an added value to it." And I had a friend who was doing his PhD over at my university, and he just happened to be in mobile. And I go in and ask him, I'm like, hey, do you think we can make a mobile app in AR for this artist? And it just happened to be that the iPhone 4 was about to come out. And the iPhone 4 was special because it was the first phone that had dual processors that could handle more complex gaming things, right? And so we set out to do it. We built out the world's first mobile app for an artist in AR. We released a record, and awesome, sold a bunch of records, big hits, champagne at Universal Music. Everybody's happy and everything, and they're like, "Yeah, wow, good, you did it." And I'm like, "Yeah."
Which year are we now? Which year is this?
This is at 2009. This is 2009. We just released the record, big hit. So I'm in the meeting with these execs, and they're like, "Okay, well, what are you going to do for like the next marketing stunt to keep this going?" This, and I'm like, "Well, wait a second." I'm like, "Guys, this music thing is in big trouble." I'm like, you can't just keep doing marketing, ploy after marketing, ploy after marketing, ploy after marketing, ploy. Your business is going to suffer, and you need to adjust accordingly. And they didn't listen. And I was like, when you feel, I don't know if you've ever felt in your career and your life path that like you're on a Titanic and it's about to hit that iceberg, right? I think I need to get out of the music industry now while I'm ahead, and start something that's in these immersive experiences. I just think that they're the future. I think that when people are going to see this, they're going to be blown away. So, sold my shares, left the music industry, all is well, right? Had a little money left over. And
that's super brave. I mean, when you're in, I mean, everybody's dreaming to be into the music industry. You're in it, you're winning, and then you decide to pull the plug.
I'm like, Claude, $14.99, nothing. $14.99, nothing, right? Why would I, like, you know what I mean? So I'm like, your business model is broken. So I said, this whole AR thing, this whole immersive thing, I think it could be something one day. And so just I opened up the first AR company in Canada, one of the first ones in the world. And not because I was especially good or anything, but really because I was the only one. So we started getting these big brands to start working with us. I started doing all the marketing for them. And it just grew and grew and grew and grew and grew and grew. We started working with bigger names and bigger names and bigger names. And around 2012, VR started taking off, but it wasn't really VR. It was more like 360 videos, right? And so with that, we started getting bigger clients, and then we started working with Twitter. Then after that, we started working with Universal Pictures. So we're the ones who had done 50 Shades of Grey Darker, the virtual reality experience. Then we worked with Tom Cruise on The Mummy. So we did all of that. And then
I mean, I'm blown away what you're telling me. I mean, this is no idea that you had all this going on. until now. I mean, I think you should even push this on your marketing material. This is unbelievable what I'm learning.
Yeah, so it's just really cool. Basil's the one who Basil's my co-founder, Basil and Charles, and so Basil's on the plane with Tom Cruise, right, in zero gravity, and we're filming it, and we actually don't know what we're doing, but we turned out great. And they're like, "Listen, we love this so much." Universal Pictures like, "We love this so much. We want to go present this at South by Southwest." So we make a deal between us, Universal Pictures, South by Southwest, and also IMAX. And so we presented at South by Southwest, and we used the positron chairs to be able to do this experience, right? So this is 2016. So we launched this experience, big hit, everything is good. And I'm talking to the customers who did the experience, and I'd be like, "What did you think?" He's like, "Oh, it was amazing. I loved it." I'm like, "Great." I'm like, "Would you do it again?" They're like, "No." I'm like, "Why?" And they're like, "Well, because it's like a movie. If I've seen it once, I'm not going to watch it over and over and over again." And that really stuck with me. And I was like, okay, well, these virtual reality experiences, they don't really have replayability that are built in, and they're alone. And so I said to myself, okay, well, you know what, guys? I think I'm tired of making other people's work, right? Because it's a service industry. And I said to myself, okay, well, I think we should build out our own stuff. Again, I sell my shares, have a little bit of money. I had a non-compete for a year, so I worked at Zone 3, which is one of the largest film and TV studios in Canada. And that whole year, we were building out the idea of what we wanted to do. And so
hold on,
2018,
hold on a second. We're at venture number 2 now already.
sold, yeah.
Music industry sold. Venture AR service industry for the cinema, for the movie industry sold. All right, 2016. Here comes another one.
Yeah, no, 2017, because I had a non-compete for a year, so I had to go work at a film and TV studio. But the whole time we were developing it. So now I'm kind of a seasoned entrepreneur in the sense that I know that things are they just will not go well. So that's what I know about being an entrepreneur is it's like things don't go well. You know what I mean?
I hear you,
It's
brother.
just hell.
I hear you, brother.
Every day it's punch to the stomach or punch to the face, right? And I'm like, and the other thing I knew about production was that you get one shot at something like this, right? Where you get a budget, and if you fail, then the whole thing fails, right? And I was like, I'm not comfortable with that. If we want to build out this product for in virtual reality, and we want to sell it to arcades and family entertainment centers, because I knew that would probably be a fit. I was like, we should open up our own arcade. So, which I didn't know anything about. So, open up an arcade and let's put all our prototypes in it and see which ones are working. So I make a deal with a real estate company. They give me a space for free. And basically what we're doing is like, we're building out these fast prototypes. We're putting them inside the arcade and we're seeing which ones work, right? First one fails, second one fails, third one fails. Then after that, the Quest 1 comes out. This is amazing because they're standalone, right? You're not tethered anymore, right? And what would be really cool is if we could pair them all together and we could put them in co-location, but wireless. And what's one thing that we feel that people would get right away? They would know what to do right away. Laser tag. So we put all those ideas together and we launched it. And then customers played it. They loved it. And I was like, "Would you want to play again?" He's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Perfect." So I'm like, "Cool." I'm like, "We got something." So we built out the first maps. It's working. Customers really love it. I'm like, "Perfect." So I have validation 1, right? Like, hey, now validation number 2 is we need to start selling it to other people because we're not operators. We were just doing this because we need to test to see what people like and what people don't like. So we start giving this out to arcades, and right away it starts taking off instantly, right? Instantly. That whole product market pull effect. We instantly get that, and so that's going really well. Sales are going super good. I'm excited. Party time. Drinks on me. Everything is good.
I missed that.
Pandemic.
Free drinks. Oh yeah. Bandwidth. Okay.
Pandemic, right? And we were lucky that we had just raised a round of funding, right? So we're like, okay, well, we just got this round of funding, and luckily we live in Canada, and Canada was one of the countries that were like, okay, during the pandemic, they would give you subsidies so your business wouldn't go out of, wouldn't go bankrupt. So I'm like, okay, we have a little bit of money. We got these subsidies. We have no idea how long this is going to last for, but we know that we have market validation in this product. So let's build something out.
Let me cut you off. This was only in Canada? You launched
Yeah.
in the arcades in Canada, is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So we kept it to let's build out something that's more robust. Let's build out some sort of game launcher to be able to start deploying this globally. And so we built out our first version. That's going well. But then after that, the whole thing with Quest is not working so good because they have a closed box system. And we have some friends over at HTC, and we said, okay, well, we think that HTC, their new product, their new Vive Focus 3 would be the right fit for this. And so we worked with them. We launched a product. That's when we met at IAPA. The pandemic is coming to an end, and then from there we just it just took off, and here we are today, Claude.
I'm happy I asked for the long version. So happy. I mean, the amount of information I just learned right there in that last 5 minutes is pretty impressive. And I got to say, I mean, as a serial entrepreneur, you always kept your head cold and I mean, I see you on the floor in every all of those fairs, and you're hustling like no tomorrow. I mean, you're on the ground. You're shouting. You're making the crowd excited. I mean, I love. I mean, this is just a side note, but I just love the passion that you have when you're doing the demos and so on. So
Yeah, I learned that very young, very young.
well, I mean, it's all in. It's all doing you a lot of favors. That's for sure. What is this? 2008. Is that 14 years in, 15, 16 years in now? Looking back, what would you have done differently? I mean, if there was a round two, is this something? Would you have changed anything, or do you see any opportunities laying ahead that could change your business moving forward?
That's a very, very good question, and I've been thinking about that quite a bit. And I don't feel I have an intelligent answer for you as of yet, but I can say that virtual reality every single year just gets a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. The adoption rate is a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. And I've been on the internet since since 1996, right? No, more than that, 1996, right? And so I saw the whole evolution from BBS to IRC, from IRC over to HTTP and all that stuff, and how it all came, and it was the same thing, little bit by little bit by little bit by little bit, and then one day, just like it was just it just came so fast, right? And I'm hoping that virtual reality and augmented reality are going to have that moment, and I truly believe it's going to happen eventually, because, like, I don't know about you, but I'm like I get separation anxiety if I'm not next to my phone. If I forget it in the car, or if I forget it here, or if it's,
Oh
you know
yeah.
what I mean? I need to be next to my phone all the time. And so these devices, they're just going to become more sophisticated, where your device is going to be on your face when you want to interact, and then after that, when you want to escape, you'll have another device in virtual reality for that. And so how all those things are going to blend, especially with AI, and how content is just going to become so cheap in the future to produce, right? And you'll have words, and you'll be able to interact with others, and it's just going to feel so much more real with presence. So I truly believe we're going into that direction. It's just a little slower than I had thought.
There's been a lot of players on the market that are coming after you.
Yes.
And I mean, we talked about this off record. Sometimes it's a bit annoying seeing others kind of really basically copy even your colors and your designs. What are you doing here, and what are your unique selling points, and how can you say, like, okay, you're always going to be ahead. You were the first in terms of really innovating on this kind of product category. How are you staying ahead, and what can we expect in the future?
Sure. So the only way I see it to stay ahead, because anybody can copy anybody, is in a few different key categories, right? So number one, your games have to be good. Okay, but everybody says they have the best games. All right, perfect. But the games really actually have to be good. So always producing new content that's going to be awesome for the end user. That's number one. And number two is the friction. So meaning, like, how easy is it from somebody to go on my website, to like the product, to be able to go and install it and start operating it directly at their location, right? So that whole thing, that's the friction point. And so we work very, very hard to have the least amount of friction possible to be able to get the user up and running as soon as possible. And the third one is just marketing and distribution, right? Because there are no traditional marketing distribution channels for type of this type of genre of attractions, right? So we're having to create all these pipelines, all of these distribution outlets, all of these ways to be able to get these operators our product and to get people to know about our product, right? Like, operators don't need to spend $50,000, $80,000, $100,000 anymore to get that premier experience where your ROI will take so long before you make money that you're gonna, you know what I mean? It's gonna be tough for you. Whereas you can take our product and you can be ROI positive in less than 2 months, right? So the value add that we're giving out to these operators and the opportunity is, it's awesome. And that whole way of being able to get it from point A to point B is where I feel that is going to be the big difference.
I think it's super smart thinking about, RH1, we're involved in a lot of FEC's buildups here in Southeast Asia. And when you look at some of the big names, even out of the US, the lead time to get a game, we're talking 6 months, 8 months, 9 months. I'm just thinking, when you want a quick turnaround, you see a game is not performing, you want to bring in something new. It seems like you're coming up like with a Tesla model where you just, you order online, you have it shipped over, and you can set up pretty much yourself.
Yes.
Because we built a few together, and obviously we went top shelf with the one we did in Cambodia. But
Yeah.
moving forward, I think if we want to do something quick, the setup can be relatively easy. And now we can manufacture and print pretty much anywhere pretty fast. But it's all about having that game, that good quality game, as you're mentioning. When you know you have a reliable HTC headset, you have nothing to worry about. So that time, that speed to market, that time to market is really, really interesting for operators who want a quick solution, a quick and qualitative solution, I'd say.
Yes. And also another big difference as well is we don't work with distributors, we work with partners. And so the difference is, Claude, is that our prices are always the same, right? And so our partners, well, of course, we make deals with them, but we don't add margins on top of it to basically, you know what I mean, rip off the customer. We don't do that, and we don't find it's ethical either. So we don't do any of that stuff. We just feel that when the customer wins, it wins, right? And that customer is going to feel that like they've gotten a good deal and they're making money and they're happy with their product, and they're going to tell other people about that. And that has, in our industry, that's gold.
Yeah, absolutely. The kind of referral, that word, word to mouth, it's excellent. VR, eSports arena across the world. How many countries are you operating? How many locations? What's the latest?
Yeah. So we are in 22 countries with 100 locations, but it goes up and down because it's seasonal. So for a lot of these locations, they'll operate from May all the way to October, and then they shut down. So it goes up and down.
What can we expect in the coming seasons, coming years, without kind of disclosing all the compared to the versus competitors? But any cool add-ons that we can expect that you could disclose?
Yes. So I'm gonna give you an exclusive, Claude, because I love you, my brother. So one of the things that we're trying to do with the arena is to make it as automated as possible, right? Where the operator needs to do the least amount of work possible, because the more an operator has to do work, more costs money, less money there is for the operator, for the owners, etc. So when I listen to when you listen to music, you listen to it in a playlist, right? It goes from song to song to song to song, right? And so we said to ourselves, well, why aren't games made like that? Why aren't games made like that? So we built out an entire new infrastructure. It's in beta right now. It's released, but to selected people. And so you're going to be able to just choose the games that you want, choose the rounds that you want. make it match your business model, save your playlists. And then after that, when someone comes in, just press play on that playlist, and it's going to go from game to game to game to game to game. And you can have different playlists that you want. So if somebody wants more of this type of games or those types of games, you're going to be able to use it with our platform. And that means that the operator just goes in, hands over the headset, presses play. There you go. Exactly. And so all of the games, the way they go from one to the other, have all been tested to have the right UI. So the customers, so players can know what to do without having to take off headsets, speak to the operators. That whole thing of where immersions break, that's where we spent a considerable amount of time. That's the last 5% that takes forever, So we've been working on that.
That's great. So can we imagine there will be a kind of a tutorial for customers when they come in and start taking their headset? They'll be able to learn how to play without necessarily have the need of an attendant being there, and they can play as they want.
Exactly. Like the way we inspired ourselves from bowling, in the sense of like, when you go bowling, you go to the counter, right? That person gives you those shoes. He doesn't tell you how to bowl. He's like, here are your shoes, go bowl, right? And so we felt that was the right way to go with our arena, where they're handing you over the headsets. They're like, go now.
How many games do you have in total now, Awane?
So we have 6 games. We're more on the way, but for now, 6 games.
Okay. The most popular is Quest as well. And how's what is the name of the new one you just launched in March, April?
Omega Protocol.
Omega Protocol. Good times. Yeah. So I think we touched about the background. I mean, what got you, how your journey from the music industry all the way up to building AR, VR for the cinema, the movie industry, and suddenly, in a leap of faith, you jumped into the FEC serial entrepreneur. We hear about how you're constantly trying to innovate your product. Again, this is made in Canada. This is your company is based out of Montreal. It's a 100% Canadian company. This was not an easy journey. I mean, we're talking about, again, 16 years in the making. Tell us a bit more about your journey here as an entrepreneur. What were the lessons that you've learned, and some of the challenges that you've seen?
The biggest challenges is to get the tech to work right for people who are not technical. That's the biggest challenge. It's because, I mean, somebody who's technical will pick this up. They'll be like, yeah, just reboot this thing. Oh, Windows update. No, don't click on that. But like somebody who's not technical, they just want it to work. They're coming from a background where they're pressing one button and the ride starts and it ends, and that's where we're coming from, right? And they expect it to work all the time, always. Right, so they have their numbers. They know how much money they're going to make. But when you start getting into these new types of products, these new innovative products, like the ones that we're doing, all of that little portion here, that is extremely, extremely, extremely annoying, but extremely important for these operators. So to get that right, that's the difference between success and failure.
And you're talking about operators. I mean, you've seen a lot of operators. You're operating in over 20 countries. 100 locations. What kind of advice would you give to an entertainment operator right now who's looking in to start an arcade, an FEC, indoor, outdoor? How do you see the industry moving, and what would you tell to them? What kind of advice would you give them? Buy VR arena, buy eSports arena is a must. Start with that. Put it in the middle and build around it.
Yes, of course. But the ones I've seen who have had the most success they're not only in VR arcades. They're not. They're the ones who carefully choose attractions that are going to be profitable, and mix them up, right? So, for example, like, just giving this as an example, I'm not telling you guys to go do this, but like, we have one guy that I work with because he's close to my house, right? And so they have the VR Sport Arena as like an anchor point inside, so it drives the people in. they played. But then after that, he's got all of these other little things that don't require operations, right? Operators, coin ops, stuff like that, that keep the customer in longer, keep the customer spending more, and that's really what's paying the rent, right? So, but if you had just coin op with none of these other things, your customers are not going to come back. They're not going to. There's no attraction that anchors them back in. So the ones who are smart enough to do both of those two things well, they have successful FECs, and yeah.
What I'm hearing is what diversity in the offer, mixing it
Yeah,
up, like
yeah,
100% VR. Maybe, I mean, adding in a bit of redemption, a bit of arcade, maybe let's say a go-kart track
yeah.
or trampoline park, and so on, but just kind of mix it up so that people get a choice. It's true. I think this is something that we're seeing more and more now. I mean, 100% bowling alley is always going to be now linked with some arcade and some F&B, et cetera, et cetera. So,
Like if somebody's opening up an FEC and they're not speaking to someone like you on the strategy and the rollout and all that, those are costly mistakes if you get it wrong. Very costly mistakes.
no, you're right. I mean, and I mean that mix is crucial. What are those anchors? It's like a shopping mall. What are those anchors that are going to drive traffic to your mall? And what are all the different small little tenants that you must have so that customers are excited and come back? I guess here within the FEC, it's the same kind of logic. You want to have you want to have those big key attractions that nobody else has, things that people can also talk about, can share, can take Instagrams and photos and post on social media. We play videos of the team playing VR Arena. I mean, and the laughs that you have during the game and watching yourself play are just amazing. It's really memorable times, and it's a good workout too. I mean, you burn some calories.
Oh yeah, you burn
Right?
calories. Yes, you are.
Next stop, just so that people who are listening know where to find you. I mean, next Yapa, are you doing the one in Europe?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing the one in Europe, and I'm throwing an event party. So, Claude, you're invited. All your
All
friends are
right.
invited. I'm going to announce it, I think, next week or the week after. So, there's going to be us, VR Cave, Lightning VR. There's going to be Striker, B Haptics. We're throwing a shingding. Come play some games, have some drinks, have some food. Come meet me, come meet you. And let's get to know one another.
Where is this going to be, Awan?
It's going to be in Amsterdam at the Lightning VR headquarters. I'm not exactly sure the address, but I'm going to post it. Don't worry.
Okay. We'll share in
Yeah.
the notes the location, the time, and the date. And
Yeah.
then, as usual, will you be at the Yapa in Orlando?
Yes, I will be there as well. So we're going to have all of our new launcher there, all the new accessories, new games, new everything. But still,
So this is
still the
happening.
same old. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Just a last. I mean, this is a tradition. Is there any particular quote that you'd like to share, either related to more related to you as a business leader, as an entrepreneur, something that kind of really you wake up to and you remind yourself, or a book that you would suggest for entrepreneurs like yourself, that you really would like to share?
Okay, I'll share two things. The one thing that got me through all of these hard times, Claude, because you're an entrepreneur as well. You know what it is, right?
Oh, yeah.
For me, it's martial arts. So I've been doing martial arts for 20 years, especially in jiu-jitsu as well, right? So I train probably 4 days a week, and at the end of the day, sometimes I'm like, no, I can't believe this happened, or and then after that, I drive over to the gym. I'm like, Jimmy's gonna pay tonight. No. But,
I'm happy I'm not part of your team, and when you get upset.
no. But it's all fun, And then I'll roll and everything, and I'll just feel zen after. It's good. Everything is good. And one guy told me in my gym once, and I'll remember this quote for the rest of my life. And it's the better you get, the harder it gets. And I was like, that makes no sense. The better I get, the harder it gets. And then I was like, oh, when you think about that a little deeper, right? The better you gets, the harder it gets, right? It's like imagine you in your company, right? The better your company is getting, the more successful you're getting. It's not getting easier, Claude. It's actually getting harder, right? But you can just manage more things at the same time. That is something that I kind of live by. And then I would say I love stoicism, right? I'm just stoic. I love Marcus Aurelius and ancient Rome and all that stuff. So I'm actually here. So I read this every day, Daily Stoic, right?
So, yes, this is good. Yeah. I got that one too. Love it.
Yeah. So it's just like 1 page a day, right? Just a 1 page a day. I wake up in the morning, I read that page, right? And it just makes me feel better, and just makes me realize that as much as you're trying to be the best in the world, that you are not your job, right? And if this works out, great. If it doesn't work out, great as well. And to not let everything just put this unnecessary weight on you. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of one of the things that I've learned over my entrepreneur journey, especially with the massive ups and downs that you get in this business, or in any other business where you're being innovative and you're trying to add value to the world, right? So that's my 2 cents.
Amazing. Awane, I really felt the authenticity there in what you were sharing, and I'm happy that following some of your lines with my daily stoic and getting physical to get our mind clear. But it's true that that what you said resonates a lot. There's a lot of it's how do you say it, when it gets better, it gets harder.
The better you get, the harder it gets. I was like, when I first heard that, that makes no sense. I don't believe this. It makes sense, man. It makes sense.
Oh, fantastic. Awane Jones, CEO, co-founder of VR eSports Arena from Phenomena. True pleasure, Awane, as usual. We see each other at least once a year, and I'm looking forward to catch up again. Fantastic. Thanks again for your time, Awane, and all the luck. Looking forward to the new release, and we'll catch up again soon.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Claude. Appreciate it.